I want to talk about something painful. I want to talk about something that's level 2 painful. Now, in terms of feelings, level 1 is when you have that feeling in the moment. Like if I stub my toe, just against the table. Ow! Level 1 pain. I'm experiencing it right now. Level 2 pain, or level 2 wah, is when you feel that much, much later. Level 2 embarrassing. I want to talk about something level 2 embarrassing. Level 2 embarrassing. Okay. There's that fancy lady you like. I once knew a fancy lady. Her name was Clarice. I don't know, it was Felicity, alright? Her name was Felicity. Okay? It's always Felicity here. I'm telling many stories at the same time. There was a girl named Felicity who I liked oh so much. She was lovely. I thought she was great. I didn't know her very well, so my brain just filled in the details with more great details. Wow, she really fits me better than I ever imagined because I made it up. And then I start to reach out to Felicity. Hey! Hey! Wanna hang out? Hang out. For her, she just had a fine time, but for me, that was great. And when I'm walking away, I added in all these extra details that made it even better than I could have ever thought. And then there's that moment where I'm like, Hangout 1 went well, and I retroactively called it a date. So the first date went well, and the second thing that I guess was just us hanging out, that was also a date. So that went well. So that's been 2 good dates. The third date, I should ask her out. So the third date begins. We're just hanging out according to her, but not for me. For me, this is something all too special. And midway through that date, at a time where she actually can't get away, she's captive, we've just ordered food at a restaurant. So she's got to wait for the food to come, and then we've got to pay the bill. And in my head, I'm like, the time to strike is now. Oh, she is basically chained to the floor. She cannot escape. Hey, Felicity. Hey, listen. Listen, Felicity. Felicity. And then I of course, per usual, thought of something that wasn't direct. Just like, hey, I really like you, you know, we should, you know, be a thing. I don't know what word you want to use, right? Like, I'd like to go steady. Let's pretend we're in the 1940s. Whatever. My selection, my choice was to be roundable, right? Because I can't be like, hey, I really like you. I'd like to, you know, if you want to be like officially in a relationship, you know, or kissing someone is like really direct, it's really clear. You just do that. But back then, you know, when I didn't get it, when I didn't understand how anything worked, I did one of these like one of these like, hey, you know, I really like you. She's like, I like you too. And I'm like, yeah, and I just, today and that last time we hung out was great. You know, I'm like, I'm doing it like so far. And I say shit like, oh, I remember we had a really great time at lunch after that volleyball tournament. And she's like, when? And I'm like, wasn't that great? You know? Oh. And so we're doing this like as roundabout as possible thing. Until suddenly she's like, oh, fuck, Sean's asking me out. Oh, fuck, I haven't even got my ravioli. Oh. And I'm sitting there, like, Felicity-san, you know, I've become an anime character with huge eyes, with little droplets of water and a reflection somewhere. And my mouth is, like, super tight, like, hi. Right? Like, I'm so into it. And she's like, no. Sean, you're great, which is another way of saying, Sean, I will hate you forever for what you put me through. She's like, no, Sean, you're great, but I want to be friends. And I'm like, and here's where we freeze in time. I know there's been cringing and wincing, and there's actually been puckering of orifices on your end. Oh, he can't. No, don't say anymore. Right? So this is the moment where the level 2 embarrassing thing happens. Isn't that amazing? I haven't even told you the level 2 embarrassing thing yet, because there's been all this build-up, and this is the moment, frozen in time, where she's just told me she wants to be friends. And it's in this moment that sometimes I would have cowered away. Oh, cool, no problem. It's totally great. But that day, I decided to press the issue. I stuck my chest out. No, Felicity. No, but we work great together. And all of a sudden, I feel empowered. There's testosterone flooding my body. I'm like becoming an alpha male. If you zoom in, you can see hairs growing out. It feels so good because I've held all these feelings back for so many weeks or days or however pathetic I was at that time. I've been holding this back, and it feels so good to let it out. It feels so good to say, no, I think I'm in love with you, Felicity. I think you're the most amazing girl I've ever seen. And your body's just like, oh, it feels good to release all the catharsis. You start telling her things. Ever since that first hug we had in a stairwell by a basement, I just knew. I knew you were for me. I knew it. And she's like, can I fucking get my ravioli to go? Right? And it feels so good. And all of a sudden you get home and one of your friends says, how'd the date go? And you suddenly, this feeling congeals in your stomach. And it's either wax or pus or a mixture of both. You don't know what it is, but it's from an infection for sure. And that feeling in there is level 2 embarrassment, where you realize you shouldn't have done that. You put up a red flag and she put up a white flag, you know what I'm saying? She was like, alright, I'm done. I quit. Level 2 embarrassment. Let me tell you something. Here's an important lesson. If you ever get turned down, if you ask someone out and you say, and the lady or the man says, no thank you, just go, oh cool, thanks. Or anything that is that tone of, okay, cool. Like, hey, you want to go on a date? I prefer to be friends. Oh, sure, sounds great. It's great. Just take it. Just take it, and it'll be way better. There's a girl who I asked out on a date, and she said no, but can we be friends? And I was like, yeah, sure. And now we're still friends, and it's actually okay. And it's actually great, and I have dated other people, and it's been fine. Don't ever run the risk of doing a move that would be level 2 embarrassing, or dare I say level 2 humiliating. And that's what this is. Where you're wow, we are on a crazy tangent right now. Yeah, this one right here.